Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get set for our fifth race of the season, third road course stop of the season here in the NNSCRA Gaming Indycar Series. We are here live in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, as we get ready to go racing at Road America. So these drivers are going to be having to get their road course racing on again. They've gone road course, speedway, back to road course. So they've kind of had to get out of their groove the following week in order to, kind of get into either a speedway frame of mind or a road course frame of mind. And we're getting set to turn them loose for 16 laps of racing in today's event. 4 races into the season, we're getting ready for our 5th race of the season, and the point stands are really close still, at least amongst the top 10 in the points coming to this race. Top 10 points are only separated by 18 points. As a matter of fact, the entire 22 cars in this field, first back through 22nd, are only separated by 41 points, which in theoretical terms is basically about 2 races. And since we've got, including today's race, 7 races left in the season, anyone is still mathematically eligible to get up there and be in the hunt for the championship when we get to our season finale. Nathan Ormond lights up on the pole position for today's race, and I guess it's time to give you your starting lineup for today's event. So with Ormond starting on the pole, he's trying to make it 5 for 5 in drivers going to victory lane this season. Jacob Rose would love to be the first repeat winner this year, as he of course went to victory lane earlier on this season at Phoenix. Austin LaPlante, his best finish was second back at the season opener at St. Petersburg. He's really needed a good run the last couple of weeks. He has not gotten it. He's got good track position today alongside of Mason Wood. St. Petersburg winner Noah Kars lines up alongside of Kev Shearer. Alexander Rowe went to victory lane a couple of weeks ago at Long Beach, and he'll start alongside of the guy who comes in as the points leader, Chris Dodd. Second in the points, Cole Baker right there. It will start just behind Chris Dodd alongside of Carson Gum. Trapintacio Vernio alongside of Charles Jackson, if they'll let me show him. There you go. Zach Flickinger will start alongside of Jake Rogers. Flickinger comes into this race dead last in the points, and they are not going to let me show him. There we go. We're going to get the command here.
Drivers, start your engines!
Third in points, Eli Bright alongside of Jonathan Zorlin. Jordan Lopez alongside of Pichu London. Matt Haas will start alongside of Jay Jefferson. And in the final row, Johnny Gardner and last week's winner from Texas, Matthew Rodriguez. Matthew Rod's win last week jumped him up to 9th in the point standings. He is 16 points out of the top position in points. Chris Dodd, as mentioned, is the points leader coming into this race by 1 point over Cole Baker, 4 points over Eli Bright and Jacob Rose. Noah Kars is 5th in standings, 5 points back. 6 points back in 6th is Matt Haas. The rest of the top 10 in points are Pichu London, Carson Gum, Matthew Rodriguez, and Jordan Lopez. Up the huge uphill before you get to the start-finish line here at Road America. And here we go. Getting set for the 5th time this season to bring him to the green flag. We're here at Road America. Let's roll! Nathan Ormond was listed on the pole position, but you saw he was on that outside line there heading into the first corner. That's because if you saw that green area just off turn 1, there's a lot of runoff zones for these drivers to use here at Road America, and a lot of times drivers can run a little bit more wide open through the corner using that runoff line, and Nathan Ormond would have been able to use that to swing around Jacob Rose, but not the case. Jacob Rose able to utilize the inside line to get the better exit, and he now goes to the race lead. The battle now is actually on for second place. Nathan Ormond defending the position against Charles Jackson. I think that's Jackson. No, that's actually Kev Shearer. The only way I can tell Shearer and Jackson apart is Shearer's number on the nose is green, Jackson's number on the nose is black. And it looks like Noah Kars has slotted into 4th, Carson Gum into 5th. I've driven this track before, never with open wheel style racing, but I have driven Road America before, and the one thing that I've noticed mostly about this racetrack it's got 2 or 3 super heavy braking zones. And if you overdrive one of those corners, you are going to pay dearly, not only in track position, but also in positions on the track as far as cars going by you. Kev Shearer putting a lot of pressure there on Nathan Norman for second place. He almost had a move on him there. Not quite able to do it. Battle is going on back here, just around the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th position, where you find the top 2 in the standings in this mix. The 8 of Cole Baker and the points leader Chris Dodd. They're behind Austin LaPlante, who, as mentioned, our first road course stop of the season at St. Petersburg, finished second to Noah Kars, and since then hasn't really had that good a run. And are we 3 wide? We are 3 wide. Zach Flickinger, 2 for the price of 1, and now Eli Bright going to do exactly the same. That's the top 3 in points right there. You could throw a blanket over them. Bright third, Baker second, and Chris Dodd first in the standings. Nathan Ormond has now dropped back to the 6th position. Kev Shearer was able to bypass him, and I don't know if maybe Ormond may have overdriven one of the corners or something, because he got passed not only by Shearer, but Noah Kars and Carson Gum also got by him. And I don't know why. They had Mason Woods scored in the 2nd position crossing the line, but he dropped back now to the 4th spot, so I guess he had picked up some spots and maybe he lost them as well. So far this season, we've had 4 races, 4 different race winners. Jacob Rose going to victory lane at Phoenix, and while there's 22 cars in the field, it gives us a big opportunity for multi-time winners this season, and Jacob Rose would love to be one of those drivers. Jacob Rose actually, coming into this race, is 4th in the standings, actually tied for 3rd, 4 points back. So we mentioned that the last couple of weeks, heading into last week's race at Texas, into this week's race here at Road America, the point stands have been really close. I mean, if we have a driver that's running really well in the point standings, go to victory lane for a second time, I mean, point standings could definitely widen and open up. But I wouldn't exactly rest on my laurels just yet if I'm Jacob Rose. Kev Shearer's got a fast piece, and he is reeling in that number $5 General car. He is on his back bumper, and if Jacob Rose makes a mistake, which can usually happen here at Road America, Kev Shearer certainly will be there to pounce. One of the most difficult turns is one that they're coming up to. They got this long sweeping, it's not a straightaway, but it's almost like a straightaway. You gain a lot of speed, and then you got to really brake right down here on this downhand corner into this left-hander. And Kev Shearer is going to try and use it to take the race lead away from Jacob Rose. Not quite able to do it. Still stays alongside. Still goes into another left-hander. Can he utilize it to his advantage? Now into a right-hander. Swings around the corner and is off track. Keeps his foot in the throttle. Still battling for the lead. And now Jacob Rose will clear him. These are open wheel racers. The O does not stand for off-road, but Kev Shearer certainly tried it, and he almost was able to make the pass. Very aggressive move by Kev Shearer early on. He's lucky, though, he was able to keep the thing up from under him, get back onto the racing surface, because Noah Kars is reeling in the top 2, about to make it a 3-man fight for that top position. Kev Shearer right there heading into these final few corners. This right-hander, then they're going to come up to a left-hander before another right-hander sweeps them around to the uphill, heading for the start-finish line. And I saw some skid marks there. Don't necessarily know if that's just part of the track texture, because there's a couple of track textures here where they actually have like a braking zone look with tire marks, or if that actually was a driver that got involved in something. So if something did happen, of course our camera people here will use the NNSCRA split cam to document it for you. Kev Shearer is not going to let off of Jacob Rose, and I think Noah Kars right now is just kind of riding and biding his time. Kev Shearer made a move down here into this left-hander before. Let's see if he does it again. That heavily braking zone area here in the left-hander. He's looking, he's looking, he's looking. Ooh, maybe be a little contact there with the left rear of Jacob Rose, and Kev Shearer backing out of that, didn't want to turn the race leader, and now he'll have to try and regroup, try again. And just like that, we had 3 cars up here. Now Mason Wood is starting to catch up here as well. So what was looking like a runaway for Jacob Rose suddenly turned into a 2-car battle, adding Kev Shearer into the mix. And now Noah Cars has reeled in the top 2, and now Mason Wood has reeled in the top 3. So we're starting to have ourselves a bit of a battle up here at the front of the field, and we are only a quarter of the way through this race. Let's jump back and see where some of our top drivers in the points are running. There is third in points Eli Bright, right now scored in the 7th position. Carson Gum going to get around Cole Baker. That was for 8th place. Move Baker back to 9th. And where's the points leader? There he is, Chris Dodd. Now about to lose, I think that's the 12th position, to Tri-Pentacchio Vernio, Johnny Gardner, right behind him. And there's Matthew Rodriguez, started this race from last, and he's been able to work his way up, currently in the 14th position. Look on down there through the finishing, or through the current running order. Jake Rogers right now, the last car in the grid. Race lead has changed. Kev Shearer able to make the move into turn number 1. And he will lead them now for the first time today. Jacob Rose slips back to 2nd. Now we'll have to see what this 34 car can do out in front and in clean air. I'm not going to say he was faster than Jacob Rose, but he certainly seemed to be a little bit better than the 5 car in certain parts of the racetrack. And we got a battle for 3rd starting to heat up. Noah Cars ran a little bit wide there through that left-hander, and thought Mason Wood was going to start closing the gap, but not quite. So now we got to see what Jacob Rose is going to be able to do as the hunter rather than the hunted. And what Kev Shearer can do with the roles reversed as well. Let's see who's laid down the fastest lap so far. I would wager the fastest lap may be laid down by Kev Shearer. Let's see if I'm right. That's exactly who it is. 155.7 for Kev Shearer. Noah Cars second fastest with a 155.8. 156.2 is the fastest lap Jacob Rose has laid down. And the rest of the top 5, 156.273. 1/1000th off Jacob Rose's fastest lap was Mason Wood, and then Matt Haas with a 156.4 is the 5th fastest car so far in terms of the fastest lap turned. Now, a couple of things could have played a factor into that lap time laid down by Kev Shearer. One could be the obvious one. He's got his car set up much better for his liking than Jacob Rose has his setup. But the other thing, too, is while there isn't a whole lot of opportunity for it, there are a couple of straightaways here, a couple of areas where speed builds up, where Kev Shearer could have gotten a slipstream draft off the back of Jacob Rose. Hence why I think he was able to make that move into turn 1, getting a big run down the straightaway. And that could have played a factor into why his lap time was what it was. You see right there now, Eli Bright has taken the fastest lap with a 155.3. That is a lightning fast lap here, and I'm almost certain that has to do with draft. Eli Bright currently scored in the 5th position. Just got around Nathan Ormond for that spot. If Eli Bright's going to get up here and battle for the race lead, though, he's got to make up about 5 seconds. But he is, well, I mean, I don't know. That does not look like 5 seconds to me. He's not too far back from catching 4th place Mason Wood. That 26 car looks like it's pretty doggone fast, and the thing that he's got on his side for sure is time. We're going to have 10 to go when we hit the stripe next time by. We've only completed 5 laps. We're on to our 6th lap, so plenty of time for Eli Bright. And not only is Eli Bright having a good run here, but this is also going to help him as far as his battling for the points lead, because coming into this race, he was only 4 points back from Chris Dodd. Chris Dodd is yet to crack the top 10. Cole Baker is just barely in the top 10 in the 10th position. So the only other car Eli Bright really has to worry about right now in terms of trying to take the points lead heading into next week would be that 5 car of Jacob Rose running in second, because Eli Bright and Jacob Rose came into this race tied for the 3rd position. So right now, Jacob Rose, based on the scoring at this current point in time, also with the fact that he led a lap, would have about 4 points advantage over Eli Bright heading into next week's race. Next week going to be a very interesting race as well, as we're going to be going to Iowa. As a matter of fact, we've been kind of on a thing here on this schedule of Road Course Speedway, Road Course Speedway. It continues on. We run Road America here today, Iowa next week, following week at Toronto, but then the Speedway Road Course swap breaks up because we actually have back-to-back road course stops. After Toronto, we go to Mid-Ohio. Then we're back to a speedway for Pocono. Then we go back to another road course for Sonoma, and the season finale, of course, takes place at the Mecca of Motorsports, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for the Indianapolis 500 to finish out the season. And looking at Eli Bright's time telemetry, and he gained a 1/10 of a second last time by. He's going to have to gain a little bit more than that. I think what he would really like is if these drivers up here in the top 4 would start racing each other, but they're pretty spaced out, and I think they're pretty happy to ride where they're at this current point in time. They'll start closing it up and racing each other for position when we get to the closing stages, though. Don't worry about that. There you see Eli Bright just there in the background. He can see the leaders, and he is closing up the distance. I think the distance we really have to watch is the distance between him and 4th place Mason Wood. Looking here at Noah Cars, we talked about Jacob Rose possibly being the first repeat winner this season. Noah Cars up here. Went to victory lane at the season opener at St. Petersburg, so we know he knows how to get it done at road courses. 5th in the point standings coming into this one. Only 5 points back from the points lead, so he's been very consistent, keeping himself in the title picture. Mason Wood, 12th in the point standings coming into this race. He is 21 points back from the points lead, so a good run for him. Trying to remember what his best finish is. He does have a top 5 this season, and I want to say that it came back at Long Beach, but I do not remember for absolute certain. Nope, it wasn't Long Beach. It was actually back at the season opener, I think. No, where was it? I'm trying to look it up here. It was Long Beach. I was right. Yep, it was 5th at Long Beach. And that's his best finish so far of the season. So right now en route to his best career finish, as he's currently riding in the 4th position. But he might want to look in his rearview mirror because Mason Wood is getting reeled in by Eli Bright. Kev Shearer, though, all he needed to do was get by Jacob Rose, and he has set sail. 1.8 seconds in hand over Jacob Rose last time by. And the battle seems to be heating up more for 2nd place than it is for the race lead, so Kev Shearer looking very good. Kev Shearer came into this race 14th in the point standings, so a great run for him here today. This will certainly help him out in terms of trying to get back into the title picture. I think if he leads 2 more laps, he will have locked up the most laps led bonus point. He's already got a bonus point for leading a lap today. The only other driver that has a lap led bonus point is Jacob Rose, of course. The only problem for Kev Shearer is that a couple of other drivers running well in the stands are running well here today as well at Road America. Jacob Rose, Noah Cars there in 2nd and 3rd, Eli Bright in 5th. So don't know how much ground he's going to gain if he's able to close it out with a win here today, but there's still a long ways to go. We can't start speculating who's going to win this race yet because Eli Bright still got a lot of time on his hands here, and we're going to follow this battle from 2nd on back because this is starting to accordion up here. It's starting to all come together between Rose, Noah Cars. As a matter of fact, Noah Cars is going to try and get by for 2nd place. Putting the bumper there to Jacob Rose, and as these two battle, that's going to bring Mason Wood and Eli Bright into the picture. The one guy that's loving to see this would be Kev Shearer. He can just concentrate on running laps, doesn't have to battle with anybody. And one thing that is true about road courses is if you're battling with someone, you're more than likely going to turn a much slower lap than if you're out there just running by yourself, just concentrating on hitting your marks. So put that in culmination with the fact that Kev Shearer's not battling with anybody. They're going to lose more ground than gain ground on that 34 car. Rose, for the moment, able to hold off Noah Cars. Mason Wood right there in fourth, and Eli Bright has caught these three. So now we know Eli Bright's got a fast race car. The question is, how long will it take him, if he can, get around these three drivers? Rose, Cars, and Wood. He's still got the fastest lap. He had a 155.3 as his fastest lap before. Now he's had a 150, almost a 155 flat as his fastest lap. Kev Shearer out there all by his lonesome out in front, 155.1. Zach Flickinger, 155.3, and he started near the rear of the field. I think he started around the 18th, 19th position. He's up to the 7th spot, is Zach Flickinger. Good run for a guy who comes into this race dead last in the points. A couple of drivers actually running badly in the standings that are having good runs. There's Flickinger, currently in 7th. He comes into this race 22nd in points. And of course, we already documented Nathan Orman starting on the pole, and he drifted back, but he's still holding his own in that 8th position, just ahead of Carson Gum. He came into this race 21st in points. So the two drivers that came in the lowest in the standings running very well right now, inside the top 10. Now look at this. Eli Bright, he caught Mason Wood, passed him. Caught Noah Cars, he passed him. And whoa, off track a bit there goes Noah Cars. Mason Wood going to try and take advantage of that, and now Mason Wood's off the racetrack. They're exchanging off-road. Whoa, boy, that was contact. Boy, these two racing really hard for that 4th position. Cars off the track, Wood off the track, little contact after that. Yikes. That's going to bring possibly Matt Haas into the picture to try and get up here into the top 5 now. You'll see him just a moment. There he is, that yellow car back there, currently running in 6th. So Eli Bright has passed 2 of the 3 cars between himself and race leader Kev Shearer. Now we're going to see if he can make quick work of Jacob Rose. And if he does, we're going to have to take a look and see what the lap times are between Eli Bright and Kev Shearer, because Eli Bright might make this a battle for the win. He's to the inside there, coming up the straightaway. And I think he's going to take the 2nd position away from Jacob Rose when they come down here into turn 1. No, he's not even going to have to wait. Just gets him right at the start-finish line and clears him for that spot. So now the interesting question is 6 laps long enough for Eli Bright to reel in Kev Shearer? Bright's got to pull away from Jacob Rose and try and end that battle for 2nd place first. But I'm certain that Kev Shearer's spotter has told him the 26th car, who is the fastest car on track right now, has cleared for 2nd place. I'm also certain the spotter is going to be giving him a lot of information of what the gap is between himself and that 26 each time that they hit the line. Eli Bright pulling away from Jacob Rose, so now the big race is going to be the interval between the 34 and the 26. Neither one of these drivers, Shearer nor Bright, have gone to victory lane this season. And they've got the 2 fastest cars here today at Road America. The question is, though, whoa, that seemed a little wide off that corner for Kev Shearer. Question is, though, who's got the best car as we head into the closing stages of this race? Eli Bright back there, he's got a lot of ground to make up. Spent a lot of his time having to get around Wood, Cars, and Rose, while Kev Shearer was able to enjoy clean racetrack. But now Eli Bright also has clean racetrack, and we're going to have to see if he can lay down lap times quick enough to get him to the back bumper of that 34 car before the checkered flag waves. Up the uphill we go. It was about 4.5 seconds in hand that Kev Shearer had over Eli Bright last time by. Let's see if the gap increases or decreases here with 5 laps to go. It decreased, but only by 1/10. And with it decreasing only by a tenth, projection is that Eli Bright would need 44 more laps before he would be able to catch up to Kev Shearer. He doesn't have 44 laps. He's only got 5 more circuits around this track, so he needs to lay down a little bit faster lap times than that, close that gap up a lot quicker. Kev Shearer right now, he's got to make sure he doesn't make a mistake, because if he slips up at least a little bit, that's a lot more ground that Eli Bright's going to be able to make up. And actually, I'm not so certain Eli Bright's out of the woods yet in hanging on to well, I guess he is. Before, at another camera, it looked like Jacob Rose was closing the gap up between himself and the 26. There's some dirt kicked up right there. I think Kev Shearer may have gotten just the least little bit off track. I don't know if Kev Shearer, if his car's handling is going away or if he's feeling the pressure and overdriving some of these corners, but he's got to keep his cool. If you don't keep your cool, you're going to overdrive corners. If you overdrive corners, your lap times are going to suffer, and if your lap times suffer, you're going to be finding yourself in a battle for the win. We'll have to see if that little mistake off that corner is going to cost Kev Shearer at all in terms of interval. And it looks like Eli Bright closed the distance up just a little bit distance-wise through those S's. We'll see what the gap is this time. Last time by, Kev Shearer lost a tenth to Eli Bright. Let's see what it is this time as he hits the line. He hits the line now. Eli Bright just coming up over the hill, and wow! Closed it up by 0.6 of a second that time, and I just saw a car on pit road. That is Jonathan Zorlin in the 3. And I don't know if this is a regularly scheduled stop or not. I don't think so. These drivers should be good to go on fuel. Shouldn't have had to stop. And tough break there for the driver of the 3. As this is a battle going on right now for the 4th position. Matt Haas and Zach Flickinger have caught up to Noah Kars and Mason Wood. Mason Wood's now been dropped all the way back to the 7th position, and now the battle is on for 4th. Kars has it. 5th place, Matt Haas. 6th place, Flickinger, and Wood now back in 7th. Tough break there for Zorlin. 18th in the points coming into this race. Had a good run last week at Texas. He's been struggling this season, but last week seemed to be a little glimmer of hope for that team, as he was able to finish out the day inside the top 10 in 8th place, but not going to get a good finish here today at Road America, it would appear. He's already scored 1 lap down. And you can see Eli Bright in the same camera shot with Kev Shearer. But again, even 0.6 of a second that he gained last lap isn't going to cut it. It needs to almost be about a second a lap that he closes it up between himself and Kev Shearer, because this time by at the line, it is 3 laps to go. And with 3 to go, he's got to close it down at least to 3 seconds, if not somewhere in the 2-second range. Let's see what it is this time by. He lost a tenth. Actually, he lost 0.2 that time. Almost 4 full seconds now, Kev Shearer in hand over Eli Bright. And I think, unless Kev Shearer makes a major mistake, that could be all she wrote. Because Eli Bright now has put himself in a situation where he has to technically run about 1.3 seconds faster than Kev Shearer for the next 3 laps. And even then, that only gets him to Kev Shearer's back bumper. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be able to pass the 34 on the white flag lap. I think probably one of those corners, maybe Eli Bright might have overdriven it. And that cost him a little bit of time. He can see Kev Shearer, but the distance just is not closing up enough. There you saw him. I think this time by, barring any mistake made on the part of Kev Shearer, if Kev has a 2.5 second advantage between himself and Eli Bright. I think Kev Shearer, just by hitting his marks and not making mistakes, has this thing in the bag. Because the thing that is on Kev Shearer's side right now is the lap count. It will be 2 to go next time by, and that is not ample enough time for Eli Bright to be able to do what he has to do. Boy, that was a beautiful lap laid down by Kev Shearer, though. He hit his marks perfectly, never overdrove a corner. Just 2 more times of doing that, and Shearer's en route to his first win of the season. Hits the line, 2 laps to go. Eli Bright, 3.96 now to 3.77. He gained 2 tenths, and that's just not going to cut it. There's just not enough laps for him to be chipping away 2 tenths of a second each time. So Kev Shearer looking like he will be winning this race unless something drastic happens. Best battle on track's going on back here, 3rd, 4th, 5th on back. Jacob Rose there in 3rd, and he's about to get caught by Matt Haas and Zach Flickinger, who have definitely got terrific long-run cars. Their cars have gotten better as the race is going on. They've now fought themselves up into the top 5, and they're looking for even more. They're looking to get 3rd and 4th place from Jacob Rose in the closing stages. Another driver that's gotten better as this race has gone on is the 10 of Jay Jefferson. He's now cracked the top 10 up to 9th place. His Ganassi teammate, though, Austin LaPlante, was mired, last I looked, all the way back in 21st place, and that's after starting this race from up inside the top 5. But Jay Jefferson comes into this race 20th in the point stand. So right now, 20th, 21st, and 22nd in points coming into today's race are all running up inside the top 10. As Nathan Ormond is under fire for that 10th position. Tripentaki Bernie was trying to take the position. Not able to make the move at least this time. Might try again here in one of these other corners. This may be the best battle coming to the checkered flag. Matt Haas in 4th, trying to take 3rd from Jacob Rose, who nearly just came across the nose of Matt Haas, and wow, goodness me. Matt Haas having to swing it way high, wide, and handsome through that corner. And that may end up bringing Zach Flickinger into this group, as Kev Shearer was just shown the white flag, and he gained a 10th over Eli Bright. So Kev Shearer's just got to hit his marks one more time, and no doubt about it, Kev Shearer will make it 5 for 5 in race winners this season. But this battle for 3rd still going on. Matt Haas has the inside advantage going into 2. He'll take the 3rd spot, so move Matt Haas into the podium. Driver comes in 6th in points. 6 points out of the top spot. Good run for him, and Flickinger right there as well. Flickinger may try and pass them both, get himself a podium finish. And I was wondering, I was seeing Matt Haas fighting his way up here. I wondered if he maybe was up there at the top of the leaderboard for fastest lap, and indeed he is. Eli Bright with a 154.964, bested by almost 100th by Matt Haas with a 154.952, and then a 155 flat for Zach Flickinger. So Matt Haas, definitely his car coming to life here in the closing stages. Eli Bright going to have to settle for 2nd place today. He had a fast machine, but Kev Shearer equally as fast here today. And the big thing that helped him was he had track position. He didn't have to battle his way from the 5th position up to 2nd place. He was able to quickly take the lead from Jacob Rose and not look back. Through the final corner, he'll head up the hill and head for home. Kev Shearer is going to pick up his first win of the season. 14th in the points coming to this race. This should work him into the top 10 as he will take the first checkered flag of his career in the series here today at Road America. Kev Shearer dominating this race after taking the race lead away from Jacob Rose, and really never had a challenge. We thought maybe Eli Bright would be able to get up there. I'm almost wondering if maybe Eli Bright might have used up his stuff trying to get himself to the 2nd position and just didn't have enough left in the tank to be able to counter Kev Shearer's track position. But nonetheless, Kev Shearer, great run for him today. Almost threw it away a couple of times as he overdrove a couple of corners, but recovered nicely and ends today's race with a victory. Standings, I think, will be official. I do not know for certain, but we will see. And indeed they are. So Eli Bright will finish second here today. This will be very interesting to see where he, Jacob Rose, Noah Kars, where they're all situated as far as the point standings after this one. Matt Haas, him as well, third today. He'll get the podium spot, the final podium spot. Jacob Rose in fourth. Zach Flickinger finishes the day out in fifth. Noah Kars sixth. Mason Woods seventh. Carson Gum, Jay Jefferson, and Tripitaki Vernio were your top 10. The pole sitter Nathan Norman slipped back to finish in 11th. Cole Baker, second in points in 12th. Matthew Rodriguez, after his win last week at Texas, gets 13th. Alexander Rowe in 14th. Johnny Gardner 15th. And then it was Pichu London 16th. Jordan Lopez in 17th. The points leader coming to this race, Chris Dodd, did not have a good run today at Road America, finishing in 18th place. So I don't think he'll be the points leader heading into next week's race at Iowa. 19th was Charles Jackson, 20th for Jake Rogers, and then Austin LaPlante, 21st. Thought maybe we'd see a little bit more out of that 9 car today, as he's not been on a good streak lately, and he had good starting track position today, but nope, finishes 21st, last car in the lead lap, and Jonathan Zorlin with some issues here apparently today, having to make an unscheduled pit stop, and he finished a lap down in the 22nd position. So that's going to do it here today from Road America. So far, 5 races, 5 different race winners. The most recent, Kev Shearer, going to victory lane here today at Road America. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to today's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full feature results, and these are your point standings as we get ready to go speedway racing again next week at Iowa Speedway. That'll be a crazy one. Can't wait for that. You've been watching Production NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Speedway.